This is gonna be fun. So you're telling me in 2025, a camera that costs 850 freedom bucks has no way to record raw photos? It only takes photos in vertical mode. It has a 1-inch sensor, if we can even call it that. It is stupidly priced, have I mentioned that? And also, like, who did they make this for? Like Gen Z teenagers who just want to relive a life that they've never lived before? Like, who are they making this camera for? They made this camera for me. And wait, I know. Before you click off, let me try to explain why I think the Fujifilm X-Half is really stupid, but also it's kind of the vibe I'm digging right now. I'm Captain Awesome, this is Geekception. I'm based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I make YouTube videos like this. I love taking photos. Obviously, that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. So the Fujifilm X-Half, like, what is that about? Well, I would say for me, my personal journey, which is why you're here, I hope that's why you're here, is that I've always wanted like a camera I can bring around with me everywhere. Now I have the X-H2S, which I'm recording on right now. I have my Fujifilm X-S20, which is my B cam, which, wait. This is what I have here right now, and as you can see, I have my lanyard. I cosplay as a Leica owning, BMW driving, middle-aged, well, maybe late-aged, European who is only taking 10 shots and is an artist, you know. But yeah, I have my X-S20 here. So you're asking me, why did I pre-order the Fujifilm X-Half? Which I did. I pre-ordered that camera. It's, you know, I paid the money. It's not like as if I paid like, $100 or something. I paid full price already. So why the hell will I pre-order this camera? Okay, first, let's start with my priorities, right? So my priority is something small, something I can bring around with me. And while the X-S20 is quite small, it is a small camera. I have to worry about, because I still primarily use this with, my video business here. So I have to worry about what lens do I have on here? Do I have the right lens? Do I have the right SD card? So those are things I'm always worrying about. So while this is small-ish enough, I would say for many situations where I actually want to just go out and take photos, or, maybe I'm so scared for fungus here because I live in Southeast Asia. The humidity here is no joke. So if you leave your lenses out, which I'm always jealous of, my brothers and sisters stateside or in Europe, where you can just leave all your camera gear on your table and it looks very fancy. I cannot do that here in Malaysia because all my gear is just going to go bad, right? So because of that, I always worry about, keeping this in a dry box, as you can see, trying to maintain it properly. And that just breaks the flow of having a camera with me everywhere where I can just take photos, at my desk, or I'm going downstairs, I'm going out, I can just, grab the camera from my desk and just go out. So I've always wanted a camera that is small enough for me to literally pocket and just take photos. Now, okay, so there are several options that I've considered, or I've been considering for a while now. I'll say the first one is the Nikon ZF. I've also considered the Panasonic Lumix S9, or just the Lumix S9 for the purists out there. I've considered the Ricoh GR3 X HDF. They just announced the development of the GR4, which looks exactly like the GR3, which looked exactly like the GR2 before it. So I don't know, not a lot of excitement there, at least for me. And which other camera did I consider? Yeah, I think that's it. So I've considered those cameras for quite a while, and my priority has always just been a third camera that I can just bring with me and shoot everywhere. And of course, the Fuji X100VI. But I think for me, if I'm going to pay that price, which is readily available here in Malaysia, we don't have like wait list or what you have to go through in the West, I think. But I think if I'm just going to pay that price, I've just always considered just stepping up to full frame. So for me, that is my pain point, right? I've always wanted a third camera that is small enough for me to bring around without having to hamper my creativity and without having to work under all of these constraints. And the more I thought about the X-Half, from all of the leaked rumors and Fuji rumors, and eventually when it dropped, the more it kept ticking all of the boxes that I've always wanted in a compact camera that I can bring around. And I think one of the major downsides, which is that it's JPEG only, while it's a downside in general, I would say, because I'm a maximalist, I still save all of my, raw photos, even though I am a pompous Fuji user who has the recipes, but I still save all of my JPEGs and RAWs that I shoot with this, right? But I think 99% of the time, except maybe it's for a very specific shoot that I'm doing for, a job, or it's maybe I'm shooting thumbnails or something like that. And in fact, spoiler alert, I shoot some thumbnails just in video itself. I don't even use photos and RAWs, right? So I actually have not edited raw photos, I would say, outside of just pure work in a long time, especially for when I'm going outside and just, taking photos on a day-to-day basis. And huge shout out to Reggie of Reggie's Portra and Roman Fox of Snaps by Fox. Their Fuji recipes are amazing. They're on both my Fuji cameras, so I have also never needed to tweak that beyond just maybe adding color here and there. So Fuji recipes are great. Of course, I am a pompous Fuji user. I love Fuji recipes. Now, from what I've seen for the X-Half, the autofocus doesn't look great, right? It doesn't look like it's as snappy as, I would say the one on my XS20 and XH2S, but let's not kid ourselves. The autofocus on these cameras are not great anyway, at least compared to the Sonys of the world. But, for me, the XH2S and XS20 have learned to work within their limits, so they work great, but holy shit, the X-Half looks like it's not great. It's even worse than that, right? So I think that's something that was slightly concerning when I looked at it. But then I also think to myself that I'm also perhaps not thinking of who this camera is made for, which is someone who is not really obsessing about, if the photos are in focus or not, because hey, it has a freaking film crank, whatever, that I'm too young to remember ever using it, right? So yeah, I think it's just meant for more intentional, I'll put it in quotes, shooting, as I put it in quotes because again, it's for a much, I would say, younger audience, which I'm guessing will, lap this camera faster than all of the vintage CCD cameras that have been sold on eBay and Carousel and all of that. So I would say for those audiences, I think it plays more into the aesthetic, which is, the missed focus and all of that. So I kind of was also okay with that. So point number 2, autofocus, you know what? I think I can live with missing a few shots here and there on a JPEG-only camera. Next will be the lens, which for me, I think on this camera I have the 35mm, which comes out to about 50 something on full frame. But my favorite focal length on my Fujis are all 56mm, so that comes out to about 75mm. So yeah, definitely the X-Half is way too wide for me. But again, I'm just trying to embrace what this camera is made for, which is made for everyday life. It's made for that versatility. It's made for thinking in terms of film, which I never experienced because I'm way too young and I come from Nigeria, where my family could never in a million years afford to buy a film camera and all of the film stock, because what am I, a millionaire? So yeah, I never got to experience that as a kid, and as an adult, I would say maybe this is my first gateway drug into actually using something intentionally where I cannot think about, oh, I'm just gonna fix it later, or I'm just gonna maybe edit that one photo I didn't get. No, it's like what you see is what you get, quite literally. And last, I would say, is the price, which I absolutely admit is very steep, especially if you consider that you just had, I think, maybe $100 and you cannot easily upgrade to the XM5, which I think is a much better deal, especially if you're looking at video, because that shoots 6.2K open gate video, which I love, which is why I traded my X-T4 for this XS20. So yeah, the XM5 is a massive upgrade. Even the XS20, if you can pay a couple of $100 more, you can get this as well. So I really consider that, man, it's just so much for the price. But then I also think to myself that, do I want to get stuck on that price instead of just, again, if I can get it at MSRP, especially because I went to the local Fujifilm site here in Malaysia that I am currently in, and I paid MSRP for it, right? If I wait for when the camera eventually arrives and it's too hot and I eventually maybe like it or I want to try it, it's easily 30 to 40% price increase here, at least locally. Do I want to pay that price increase later, or do I just want to pay MSRP now? And I think this is where, after all of this back and forth, you can imagine I am thinking all of this, I'm talking to my wife, I am, putting all of the chats in, ChatGPT, asking which one should I get, which one is worth it, should I upgrade to the Fujifilm X-100 but eventually I think at the end of the day, this was still the logical part of me talking, right? The part of me that actually likes my money, the part of me that is not a consumer, who is not, fueling this capitalist utopia that we have created all equally, right? Both as consumers and as producers. So I think that was still the logical cap I had on, and for me to be able to proceed forward, I think I just needed to put that logical cap on off and just tell myself that, hey, you know what works right now is just getting it at MSRP. Best case scenario, I really like it. I like that there are film simulations, and on Threads, I was, I saw a post by the creator of Mood Camera, which is one of my favorite cameras for my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and they were talking about how they saw this and it reminded them of their app, and I think that was what I thought too as well, right? It's a kind of camera that reminds me of the best shooting experience that I get with my iPhone. And granted, the iPhone has much better qualities. It has many more cameras here and many more apps and the ecosystem and all of that. But I think even deeper than that is just for people who just want something that you can customize, especially with all the film simulations and everything. I don't think there's anything that beats it at that price point, right? And you can argue that there are, of course, there's all this and there's all that, but I think, it's logic, man. If you continue thinking about it with logic, it really doesn't make sense. And I agree 100%. I'm with you there. And it just reminded me of Sigma and their Sigma BF camera that they announced a while ago, where they straight up just called it beautiful foolishness. That it's beautiful and it's foolish, right? And I don't think this camera is beautiful because it's, no, it's not ugly, but I don't think it's beautiful in that sense of, craft and the way it's been made. But I definitely think that it's just in the way that the experience I think that it offers. I don't think there's anything quite like that right now that you can purchase that puts all of this in just one package. And isn't that what creativity is all about, right? It's all about, the illogical, right? Like, why do we do what we do, right? This is such an expensive industry to be in. All the gear is expensive, all the knowledge is expensive, all of your experience is expensive, and for some reason we're still here. You're still here, you're still watching. I'm still here. I'm still making a video at almost 10 p.m. at night here just because I pre-ordered a camera that I absolutely do not need. So yeah, there is no logic to all of this, right? The part of you that thinks there is a logic to it, I think is just the part of you, or I speak for myself, I do not know anything about you, is the part of me that is just like, trying to justify not spending this and not going for this. And ultimately, I think that's what creativity is all about, right? It's about working with constraints, especially when it's about, maybe it's not the most perfect gear, it's not the most, clinical. And I think as photographers or as people that, capture stories and bring them to life, isn't that what we're always chasing, right? We're always chasing that thing that has character, that has, a kind of its own ID. And I think the X-Half it works for some reason. And wrapping up, I would say the worst case scenario is I get the camera, I do not like it, and thankfully it's a Fuji, so I should not be losing as much on this camera compared to any other tech product that I would buy. Thank God it's not a car, because that would be a bad financial decision, right? So the worst case scenario is I do not like it, I do not like the experience, or I do not like the lens or whatever it is, and perhaps I just sell it off for MSRP, or thankfully it doesn't hike up in price. I do not intend to sell it for more than I can get it for. So, worst case scenario, I don't like it and I just sell it off, right? And I think, just coming to the end of this video, yes, absolutely, this camera is stupid. I don't know, the price doesn't make sense. From the build quality, I'm saying it doesn't look like it's that much, of a build quality. The video looks like ass. Like, really, have you seen the videos from this camera? They don't look great at all. But for some reason, here I am, here you are, here we both are sitting down, like we're in the circus, clown one and clown two, still talking about it, right? So definitely there's something there. And I think that something is what I would love to explore on my own. And in fact, it's very funny because for this camera, normally when I'm trying to make purchases like this, my logical brain is always thinking, how can I make content about it? How can I make videos about it? What kind of videos can I make? How can I justify this purchase? And I think this is one of the products that for the first time in a long time, I'm actually not thinking any of that. All I'm just thinking is, I just want to get it to my hands and just go out and just shoot and just enjoy that experience. An experience I never had, for example, for film photography. I mean, I could do it now, but what am I, a millionaire? So an experience that I think is just something more than what we can get right now. And again, we complain all the time, right? The companies, planned obsolescence, they don't make anything new anymore. Our iPhones get slower when a new one is about to be released, and yada yada yada, right? There's so many complaints about how companies are not innovating. And I think even more than just writing a post on Threads, which I did, or just talking to my wife about it, which I also did, and I will do some more. So sorry, baby. But other than all of that, it's just supporting, I think, just a different company trying to do something different. Even if it doesn't work out, I think as people who make things, we know that not everything will work out, and that is fine also, and not everything is for everyone, which is why if this was not for you, if that was great, let me know why in the comments down there below. If this is for you, absolutely, please also let me know what reasons are you thinking about. Will you buy the X-Half? Will you not buy the X-Half? I just want to publish this video as soon as I can, because I did not wake up this morning thinking to myself that I'm going to buy a new camera, and yet here we are. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. I've been your captain of awesome. This is Geekception. Consider liking, subscribing maybe if you like tech content. I don't really make a lot of camera stuff, though I do have some stuff in the plan, so if you want to check that out, that'll be great. But other than that, please text me when you get home so I know you got home safe. And there is no deer in Malaysia, but watch out for the tapir. They are quite big and they are quite endangered, and you might run into some problems if you hit them on the way. So please watch out for tapir, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to stay awesome. Bye. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. I'm a bit quiet because my wife is asleep and I'm just about to finish this video. It's about 2:15 a.m. right now. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you leave your thoughts. What are you excited about? As you can tell, I'm excited about this camera. I can't wait to get it. I think it's only going to arrive in like mid-June or something. I hope I get it sooner. I think I'll go play with it tomorrow. I think there's like displays around Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia here, so I think I'll go play with it. But other than that, please take care of yourself. I just really need to go to bed. I think I'm now shouting, so I'm going to reduce my voice a little bit. But yes, take care. Love you very much. And leave hashtag Diptych, DIPTYCH, so I know you made it all the way to the end of the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye.